Well, as Kevin mentioned, I'm Marty Hodgett, Managing Director with Accenture. Had 2 stints with Accenture. One a long time ago for 23 years. Actually started when Accenture was Arthur Andersen, if people remember that. Left about 11 years ago, not 15, I'm not quite that old. But in that process, did spend time with retailers. I've done the consulting, I've done the retailer, I did a startup, lost some money, had to go back to work, so I've done the pitch, not as well as you guys apparently, because I did lose money. But what I wanted to share with you, I've had the privilege the last year in spending a lot of time with the C-suite of several of the largest retailers, many up and down the Pacific Northwest, also in San Francisco. And the conversation we have is remarkably similar across any type of retail. So we wanted to talk about, and I call it, what are the big boys and girls thinking about? So we'll talk about it in 3 areas. One, we'll take a step back. I noticed last night at the cocktails that many of you may not remember the way retail used to be, because you're pretty young. So we'll take a minute and talk about that. The reason that's important is the C-suite still today, that's their paradigm. That's what they're comparing things to. We'll then talk about the change. What's happening today, where is it, and the major pain points. And we'll try to end up on a positive with tomorrow, which is really today for many, and talking about the art of the possible and where they want to go. So hop with me in your time machine. Let's take a step back and think about a simpler time. A simpler time when manufacturers made products. They typically made products in the United States, by the way, as well. And they owned the customer. If you wanted to be a marketing professional, who'd you go to work for? Procter & Gamble. Who owned the customer relationship? Procter & Gamble. How did we know we needed extra absorbent paper towels? Procter & Gamble told us. Whiter teeth? Palmolive told us, right? They not only did the product innovation, they handled it, they handled the pricing, and they made some money. They were kind. They sent it down the line to the distributors, to warehouses, wholesalers, who stored it. Quite frankly, didn't do a lot of value add. Kept it. They made some money, and they passed it on to, of course, the retailers. If the retailers were having a hard time selling it, maybe there's some coupons which were sponsored by the manufacturer, maybe there were some slotting allowances, maybe they gave them a little extra money to get it on the end cap, etc. And interesting enough, the consumers bought it, and we were generally pretty happy. Everybody stayed in their sandbox, everybody played by the rules, it seemed like we all went to the same kindergarten class, and everybody made money, and life was okay. Well, I think we know. Change went through. But it wasn't one big thing that happened. It is a number of things. We'll talk about a few of them. We could talk about 10 or 15 other items as well. To me, one of the first ones is over-retail. This is one example. We can talk about whether it's the Best Buys or Home Depots. Yes, a few have come and gone, sports authorities, etc. But still today, we are really over-retailed. Right? Home Depot used to be a spot where you spent an hour at home putting together your shopping list, thinking about your major project that you wanted to do, and you drove 30 to 45 minutes and you got it. Today, you buy light bulbs at Home Depot. 1995, people don't normally associate this with retail when we talk about it. eBay gets started, and a few years later, anyone can sell anything to anyone, anywhere. And price transparency has arrived. And by the way, Meg Whitman, first job was at Procter & Gamble. But the manufacturers didn't want to stand still either. They decided they needed to get in the retail game and open up their own business. Nike, and the famous one in Palo Alto, Apple. Steve Jobs is still alive. He enlisted folks like Mickey Drexler to help. And I remember living in the Bay Area, watching that store being built, watching it being open, sitting with a number of retail experts, and the conversation would always go something like this: it will never work. Are you kidding me? Sales per square foot, they're never going to get enough. Oh my goodness, look at all those blue shirts. Their labor costs are going to be through the roof. No way. Where's the POS? What? No receipts? Oh, forget it. Done. Steve Jobs changed all of our lives. He also changed retail when that first store opened. And of course, retailers wanted to get back a little bit too, and we've got the proliferation of private label that used to be the least expensive, pretty good quality product, and now it's up and down the good, better, and best category. But we're different too, right? 90% of us, when we shop for anything significant, we use some sort of mobile device. We can find out information about the product like we never did before. If you're buying a large purchase, let's say a refrigerator, appliance of some sort, chances are you know more about that product when you walk into the store than the sales associate does. You know more about the price points, what it's sold for before, the differences in models. Think how different that is than a few years ago. And we're different people, right? Demographics are different, age is different, we desire different things. And of course, if any of you, I know Kevin does, have kids, my son, 17, will talk to me about a product like he owns it. And I tell him, where is it? That's interesting, let me see it. Oh, I don't have it. But how does he know so much about it? Snap, Facebook, Twitter. And that power, that's now what he wants. It's not the billboard, it's not the implant or the advertisement in a weekly newspaper, right? It's because his friends are talking about it. Okay, we're going to go through a little bit of pain here. 94, a little online bookstore opened up. What's the name of that online bookstore? You got it. Now, that didn't really bother anybody. As a matter of fact, Borders, the founder of Borders, opened up Webvan about the same time. Anybody remember Webvan? So Webvan and Amazon really have the same vision. The strategy was very different. They wanted to own the last mile. Amazon started slowly with one category, books, didn't really shake things up too much. It's easy to sell books. There's a little code that tells you exactly what book it is. No big deal. Webvan went for everything in big splash. They still today had placed the largest order with Bechtel for distribution center and technology. The largest order ever. And they went from doing nothing to try to do the whole value chain, left to right, up and down. 5 years later, they're out of business. But that's the monster that kills. That's the monster that was probably the blunt instrument. When Amazon came out and said, we can get you for free what you want in a day or two, that changed all of our shopping. And that put a lot of pressure on the big boys and girls in their supply chain, on cost structure, on everything else. We've come full circle. Anybody been to Amazon Books in Seattle? It's a beautiful store, wonderful bookstore. And we all know what just happened not long ago. They're going to soon have 400 locations. I was in Manhattan just last week. There's a beautiful Whole Foods right in Times Square. How long will it take them to serve Amazon Fresh out of that Whole Foods location? So the result of all of this, and these are real percentages, and we probably could push this back several years. Retailers, from a sales perspective, many of them are hanging in okay. But the pain has come in the money, in making. It costs more today to acquire customers, to keep customers, price matching, markdowns, labor's more expensive, online's more expensive, you name it. This is not a sustainable model. So, When we talk about, I'm pointing, there we go, the future. When I talk to the CEOs, board members, I think I've gotten this question 3 or 4 times and it almost sounds identical. It's something like, today I'm a retail-based store with an online presence. That's my life. Tomorrow, I know I'm going to be a digital retailer with a retail presence. What the hell does that mean to me? What does it mean to my employees? What does it mean to my customers, my supply chain, what I buy, how I buy, where I go? So the way we talk to them about it is we talk to them about putting together basically 2 things supported by 3 others. A digital strategy around the customer journey using data analytics, machine learning, artificial intelligence, all the fancy consulting buzzwords. But the big thing is around digital strategy. If you don't have a digital strategy that's tied around your customer's journey, and the journey is different than it was back in the old days, right? It is about how you use a product, where you shop, how you fix it, how long you keep it, how you share it, how you explore, how you purchase. And yes, store locations, physical locations will have a home. They may be different. We're going to see a lot more pop-ups. We're going to see virtual dressing rooms of some of our largest fast fashion companies. And yes, we're still going to see large stores as well. But how do you tie that into the social, into the online, into the mobile, so it's one integrated experience? Store technology has come a long way. It's a lot cheaper than it used to be, so we can do a lot of things in the store. We saw some of the items just a little bit ago around the beacons, the sensors, the Wi-Fi's, so we can get more data than we know what to do with. The challenge is to use that coupled with online data, which again, it's frightening the amount of detail you get by being online, and understand how you operationalize the data, how you turn it into business intelligence, how you make it very advanced through analytics and personalization. I'm sure many of you are like me. I won't name the retailer. You may figure it out when I tell you what I buy there all the time. 2 kids, now old, used to buy what you normally buy when you have 2 young kids, diapers and all kinds of things. Still today, I get the weekly email from them, and they're offering me their top sellers. Diapers, baby wipes, furniture. I haven't bought any of that stuff there for years. They have my data. What do I buy there? Wine, beef, Prilosec. Now, they may all go together, by the way. I haven't quite figured out that analytics yet, so if I had not been in that store for 2 weeks, if they send me a direct email and they say, Marty, we noticed you haven't been in the store for 2 weeks. We have a wonderful new Chardonnay. Here's a coupon for 50%, good this weekend only, and good only for you. Come in and please enjoy. Better yet, we've sent it to you, Marty. It will be there tomorrow. If you don't like it, just tell us and we won't bill you. So trying to get ahead of the game and understand it so that you can look at situations like this and adjust what's out there to make your sales better. Now, it's not just about analytics, it's about what all of us want now. Most people don't talk about products anymore. They talk about experience. So REI does not want to sell you a canoe. Well, they would love to, by the way, but they want to sell you the best Facebook picture this weekend of a canoe trip is your Facebook picture. They need the sales associate to sell it like that. They need to talk about the experience. They need to pull the co-op members together to potentially offer lessons, a rafting group. They need to follow up. and they need to offer it that if this is not a great trip and you end up not liking it, that's okay, come back. We'll help you. And that's what they're talking about. And it also may mean they have a pop-up near a river that's only dealing with a very small set of what they sell today. This woman does not go out often. She wants to buy a very nice dress. She's looked online. She's picked out 3 or 4 dresses. She selects them. It's immediately sent to the closest virtual dressing room with a sales associate there, gets those dresses ready. She comes in. We know when she comes in. It's ready. We greet her. We don't talk about the dress. We talk about the why she wants the dress. The woman talks about this wonderful big event she's going to, how special it is, and she doesn't go out very much, and she really wants to make it special. So we talk about that experience. She looks at it, she likes it, and she says, I love it, but how would it look in green? I can do that. I don't have the dress. We press the button on the mirror, now it's in green. Just, I love it. I want it. Says, great. We start wrapping up the transaction, and she says, oh, this dress is a little expensive. I don't go out much. I'm not sure I can afford it. That's okay. Would you like to rent it for the night? Rental business of dresses is now one of the fastest growing segments out there. And oh, by the way, would you like to rent this jewelry that goes with it? And also, when you pick up the dress, here's a coupon for getting your nails done. Can I help you with a concierge service to maybe arrange a limo for a ride if you would like? And please tell me how the experience was. That person will come back and buy that next dress or rent that next dress at that same location. So this is what's happening. We've got people thinking about experience. We've got this blend of technology. We've got new ability. We've got people doing things related to their product and shopping experience, but not in the customer store, like Facebook, social. We need to get that data, report that data, understand that data, make it relevant, pull it all in, and go through it. The challenge that they're having, unlike newer companies who are starting, right, they have a host of legacy challenges. And I think that's the opportunity for many resellers to figure out where in that spot can we apply a quick solution to do fast fail, innovate the A/B testing we heard about. If it works, roll it out. If it doesn't, move on. So they're all about trying to find locations. Nordstrom announced, right, their innovation stores. Their VP of innovation can play with that store as he likes. Nordstrom's, by the way, talking about going private. Why? Well, one, they don't want to deal with the quarter-by-quarter comparison to other retailers when they think they're doing pretty well. But quite frankly, I don't think they want to deal with a Bezo making an offer and buying them. Or they just want to get out and do what they need to do on their own. It's a family-owned business. Many of these things, you have to remember that. It's family-owned business. So with that, I appreciate everyone's time. Thank you.